our tournament schedule's running a little bit late, so that means we actually still have our 2023 NU playoffs ongoing. So today, we had quarterfinals finish up, I think, last week? Sometime kind of recently. I'm gonna go through two of the series we had. We had Ifo versus Danny. I feel so bad for what I'm doing to you, Danny. And we had Pokeslides versus Tutor. You know, I have to cover two of my NUCL teammates series to see what they're up to. So, again, more tournament coverage, baby. Also, yo, there's an Ampharos here. You tell me I'm not allowed to cover an Ampharos game? Come on, man. Come on. There's a lot of really fun-looking teams, though, in these games. So I thought it'd be fun to highlight them. So, you know. If you've been enjoying the content of late, make sure that you are subscribed if you're not already subscribed. I'm hitting 10K by the end of the year. You can't stop me, but you can help me. So, come on. Join the movement. And I do want to shout him out once again. Give me one moment. Shoutouts to Smaragoyle for joining as a member. I had to go check and make sure I remember his name. I had to make sure I didn't mispronounce it again. Of course, you join as a member, you get some extra uploads. Been putting out more stuff there lately. It's just kind of things that I normally wouldn't do on the main, so there you go. You like that? Come join. Now, game one. We've got, like I said, a freaking Ampharos, man, versus just some kind of standard-looking balance from Danny. Dunsparce is a little bit of a unique pick. We haven't really seen it since... God, I don't even want to say we've... Like, November? It's been a long time since the Dunsparce has been seen, and a lot of it's because there's just been more bulky setup sweepers that people more often are preferring, but the Dunsparce still a nice option. Serene Grace Paralysis? Hey, man, that's good. And, hey, you compare it to Snorlax, you have not only that, but you have Roost instead of Rest, and that can be very useful if you're not looking to get pressured into wasting a ton of turns doing nothing. Meanwhile, on Ifo's side, what do we have that looks threatening? Well, I would say the Ampharos is threatening. The problem is I don't know what the Ampharos set is yet. Supposedly, I've watched the game before, but you look at Ampharos here, maybe it's Specs, and you could have some Terrablast Ice stuff look good. The Mon does learn Meteor Beam as well. No clue how good that would be here, but what I do like is the potential of Glowbro to just be an absolute monster. You look at it here, it's going to match up pretty well against a lot of Danny's team. Vileplume is a free switch in any time Glowbro wants, and that's kind of why partly this Mon is so good, and this Mon's maybe not as good as you think it'd be. So, anyhow, let's learn. Let's watch and learn. What is this Ampharos up to? So we see a horse versus a plume. You're always going to switch the horse out there because you just don't risk getting it chipped down early, especially with it maybe being needed to handle the Dunsparce and the Flygon. And now Ampharos brings out that Arcanine. And Arcanine is actually really, really good this game. You look at Danny's team. His fire resists are Delphox and Flygon. Those are not very, very good. So, he's going to preserve it there, not risk going for another Flare Blitz. Danny is going to make the Eek play there always, seeing if he can pick that Mon off. And now the Ampharos is in, and Danny goes Plume, and we are Meteor Beaming it up, baby. Meteor Beam Ampharos is 67 to Plume, which is insane. And yeah, I mean, now this Mon just gets to pick a Mon off. Raj isn't going to be able to actually beat you down. Focus Blast takes it down from that percentage. Ampharos is claimed victim 1. Now, unfortunately, we just see a miss there. It wouldn't have one-shot to Dunsparce, but you would have probably done like 60 at least. You do get the static along the way out, though. That could be potentially useful for later on, just making sure that the Dunsparce struggles a little bit more to sweep. As the Delphox pivots in on the Sludge Bomb, actually gets poisoned, and Oricorio even takes a little bit of Soif Chip. So now Ifo, knowing Danny has to Roost there, he goes Arcanine, but instead Nathaniel says, "Ha! He thought I had to Roost, you bum." Goes for that Quiver. Terra Ground Revelation Dance. The Arcanine is gone. That is a huge threat out of the way for Danny. Now, unfortunately for Danny, he's running one of the slowest Oricorios ever known to man, and he's outspent by Scarfamigo. This is what I don't like about these really slow Oris. There's a lot of Scarfers that get the jump on you. And I understand wanting to prioritize bulk, of course. Makes this Mon have a lot easier time setting up versus various Pokemon. Also just gives you better odds if you're trying to trade. You got Mons like Raj, for example, and maybe try and trade versus you, especially as you've Terra'd. And hey, you got more bulk, it doesn't really matter. So, anyhow, I get it, I'm just not a fan. So, Mingo picks that off, the Plume will always come in here, go for a Sap, just to get back to full. And Glowbro comes out, and this is once again, you just want to throw off a Sludge Bomb, but it's very, very free. Ifo does get the full para there, though. Horse will always come out now versus the Dunsparce. Roar on Mudsdale is just standard as all hell now. And Danny does try to go for another coil, maybe expecting a stealth rock there. Unfortunately, he does not get that. Now the rocks go up because that Flygon never threatens Mudsdale at all. And we play out this Glowbro sequence once again versus the Plume. This time, though, Ifa looks for a little bit of a double, trying to proactively catch that Dunsparce follow-up. And he's unable to. And Danny decides, I'm going to Leech Seed spam for a little bit. That doesn't actually do anything, unfortunately, because there is a Glowbro. So, Regenerator will negate that chip consistently. And now we get the plot going. The Dunsparce takes the Sludge Bomb pretty well, but it's not going to win this trade, I don't think. We'll never learn, though, because Ifa switches, baby! Rivers comes back out, and again, you can always just roar this out. You can even go for some chip if you want with EQ. You could even make a double at some point if you need. He goes for a body press here. It does nothing at all, and he gets caught by that yellow color. But again, it doesn't matter. This Plume is quite literally never allowed to have fun. You can Leech Seed this Glowbro all day, man. You're not doing anything. And now the horse is allowed for re-entry here. Nice double switch there by Ifo. Get the horse in on the Fox. And now he gets Ampharos back in. And you may think Meteor Beam's unclickable. However, you'd be mistaken. He goes for it again here. And then he gets a very, very nice crit. I did the calc. I actually calced it with thinking there was different number HP there for the Flygon when it came in. That crit, I think, mattered maybe. It was a favorable roll for Ifo, but there was still a noticeable chance for it to live. As he now goes for another Meteor Beam, because it's not like he could hit this with anything else. And this crit presumably does matter. If we saw 67 on the first Meteor Beam when it was +1, then that tells you that, you know, if somehow you were hit by a +0 beam, that it would have done about 44%, so times 2 to that, maybe around 88. There could have been that he got a low roll earlier, though. Maybe there was some overlapping damage that let him get the OHKO, but I mean, from there, I'm not too sure Danny had a great path to winning. It's hard to say. This Flygon was probably Bandit, if I had to guess, or like Dragon Dance, just because you've got the Mingo. We saw it outspeed Pom Pom, so of course you confirm the Mingo is Scarf, and it's not like the other way around, where Flygon Scarf, Mingo's CB. So, I mean, I'm thinking probably what would have happened is eventually Flygon just... because you would have been able to still revenge kill this with Fox afterwards. I don't even know why I'm saying all this. This mon was going to CC twice and win. Disregard that. It doesn't matter. Anyhow, game 2. We've got a very nice team from Ifo. And at least on paper, this is one of the most standard teams I've ever seen out of him. A lot of Ifo builds, if I were to showcase his earlier round teams as well, they're usually a little weird looking. And I don't mean that in a mean way. He just brings stuff that's kind of offbeat. And this is probably the closest thing to standard that I've seen from him in a long time. You've got Glowbro, Emboar, Copperajah, Flygon, Serena. These are just all standard good mons, even a Staraptor. And on this team, I mean, I don't even mind Raptor over Flamigo. It gives you a ghost immunity, so if you need something to better switch into Chandelure or Shadow Ball. I mean, it's not like you like switching Staraptor into that, but at least you block it. Meanwhile, Danny definitely went off the beaten path with that build. Uxie as the rocker, presumably. Could be Flygon still. You got an Electrode Hisui, one that hasn't been seen in a long-ass time. Sensu is your Oricorio of choice instead of going for like a Pom-Pom. Just a lot going on here. As I look at the preview, you're trying to think about like what mons may be very scary. A Raptor. Very intimidating. I will Brave Bird your entire team down, and if you are not static on Electrode, it's probably not looking too great for you. Sucker Punch Emboar, of course, could keep it down. Not the most common, but it is a thing that you have to be cognizant of. Raptor also kind of problematic for Danny, though, because it's gonna always hold Sensu back. I mean, you just blast it. There's not really a whole lot more I could say about that. You just blast that mod back. I do like his Emboar into this matchup, though. Glowbro has to be something that resists fire. Otherwise, Danny Emboar, even if it was like Scarf, literally picks up a KO every time it's in. It's just how it is. So look to see maybe the Emboar over on Danny's side try and do something. Or if he's ever able to get like Chip on Raj plus KO the Raptor, could even open up Sensu. The reason you got to KO the Raptor, of course. Presumably it's going to be the Scarfer. I would just not expect Flygon to be Scarf on a team with Staraptor. It's not impossible, But I think Scarf Raptor is far, far superior to Bandit and anything else it would try to do. So, start this game, there's an Overquill led with against the Flygon. Danny's a little greedy, so he stays in here. The Flygon reveals Earth Power, which when I started watching this game, I was like, it's not a standard team. Okay, good to know. Because then this Flygon goes for Boom Burst. Gets that Throat Spray boosted. I'm here to tell you, Uxie is not going to hold on. He's just getting bursted down. Oh my god. It was really funny to see this. They're just like, wow, why is Boom Burst Throat Spray Flygon actually so good here? And then Danny, I think, probably trying to force Ifo to switch there, fearing Leaf Storm. Does bring out the Trode. It doesn't work. I mean, he just Fire Blasting kills the Uxie. Would have lived a Leaf Storm anyway. As the Rajdan comes in on the Leaf Storm. When I saw Danny go to the Trode, I fully expected him to Volt, by the way, because it's just a play that matches Danny's style. Instead, he ends up T-Wave from the Raj. Admittedly, he gets a really nice trade-off on the Raj here, weakening it quite a lot, and even getting Chip on Serena, which admittedly less necessary, but potentially opens up something for his Flygon later. He's able to even get the full paralysis here. Another foul play. And as we're going to see, once this dies to Axel, don't even try spin blocking. It's not worth it. He does get the Aftermath. So, I mean, there's some good here for Danny. Unfortunately, the Raptor comes out on the Sensu. And yeah, Isman does not live Scarf Bravebird from full. I'm sorry to tell you, it gets sent back. So Flygon now comes out here, forcing the speed tie threat. And Bravebird still has 92, which is truly disgusting as he DDs up here. And unfortunately, of course, the DD ends up being a little bit much. He needed just Outrage, but instead he went for that. Eject button draws in the Embor, and of course that means he's got Sucker Punch. The only reason you ever bring in Boar, otherwise, I mean, I think you just go like Raj to try to tank the Outrage and just hope you're not full parried. And now we do see the Globe Rail come out on that CC from Boar. And the Boar switches out there. Still trying to at least leave it up to ambiguity what this thing's item is. Whether I'm like Scarf, I'm assuming you just calc and know for sure if it's Bandit or not there. But leaving it up to the world to decide, am I Scarf? Am I, E-Belt? Something else. So now the Boar comes out here. He is going to reveal the Sucker Punch as well on his own Boar. The Globro is forced in here, and unfortunately for Danny, the Globro can scout. He goes for Terra Dark there, does reveal that he is in fact not Bandit or Scarf. And then the Globro comes in, turns into a Water type, and unfortunately that will be Wraps. Because Danny is not going to be able to favorably trade with this Globro enough. You do see how much that CC did. If there was a crit here on CC, double crit actually won him the game. Because what would have happened is Ifo would have gotten crit, switched out to Raj to get Regenerator, and another crit would have been in range. Which is really funny. But unfortunately for Danny, he does not manage to extend it to a game 3. Ifo is able to pick him off with the Globro at the end. Now move on to these two games, and I'm going to keep it a stack. These games a little bit cursed. Probably doesn't help that first game there's an Iron Thorns. Very scary mon. But both these teams are just absolute insanity. It's just balls to the walls offense. Very fun stuff though. And I mean, Slice rolled the best matchup he probably could. Sun's incredible into this. You're going to have like one of these two here, Scarf Typh or Scarf Zard. I'd always assume, I mean, it could be Scarf both. I'd always assume that the Typh would be the Scarfer of the two, because you just want to always be faster for your eruption. You don't want to get hit before you go for the move if you could avoid it. So I look at this team, I look at Scarf Typhlosion, Terrifier Eruption, I see 6 Death Fodders. That's really all I can say. In terms for Tutor, he's got the Thornulus. Thornulus is very, very strong here. Iron Thorns looks very, very nice. There's not a single rock resistance sight. This thing gets a Dragon Dance up. Again, really the only threat is does this have Chlorophyll? Is this, Scarf and still at full to where I can get probably one shot under Sun, frankly, by the eruption? There's some questions you gotta know. Pom Pom also, once again, we're gonna see a lot of these games where there's one Pom Pom, 2 Pom Pom, 3 Pom. Very good mon. And it even looks like it could give some issue here. You're gonna have to hope if you're Slice that, once again, you just don't let it set up. Or that even if it does set up, that it getting to +1 isn't gonna run you down. And I mean, there's some counterplay here. So, start this game. Espeon led versus Espeon. Very, very funny. Nice little Spider-Man moment. as they both also switch. Bonnet comes out versus the Arbalova. Goes for a CC there. Arbalova activating a little seed sower. Also switching out with the eject button. Pom Pom comes out now, and you may think this is where the game ends, because Pom Pom looks insane here. The Ninetales comes out. I mean, you're going to be faster after this Quiver Dance, surely. And you're going to go for Revelation Dance. Unfortunately, you don't even do half. The Ninetales encores you, and now the Brute Bonnet will be coming in very, very safely. And hey, of course, Slice, an astute gamer of the Bonnet, does have the growth here. So tanking these hits is like nothing to him. He just gets his boost. And unfortunately here, I guess Slice doesn't have Crunch on his Brute Bonnet. Which, yeah, you can only have so many moves here. Goes for Bullet Seed, though. Not even going for Sucker Punch there. I guess not wanting to risk a switch there. Or maybe Bullet Seed with 5 hits would do more than Sucker Punch still. And then he gets absolutely bailed here. Doesn't go for Sucker Punch once again. And he gets rid of the Pom Pom, which is, of course, really good. And here, once again, I mean, we don't see Sucker. So, I think he had Sucker Punch. There's no way you drop that and have Crunch, and you didn't Crunch this. So I think he just didn't want to risk the Thorns DDing on a predicted Sucker, which I agree with that. That's a fair play. Zard, of course, then comes out, and the Thorns, knowing that Spec Zard's a problem, switches, sacks the Glowbro, Espiotes hits a screen, and now this one's a huge threat. Or so you'd think. So, sacks the Zard here, because you don't need Zard. It's kind of overkill at this point, and if it's Specs, it's outsped by just about everything anyway now. So instead, we go Lilligant, and we're just looking for some chip. So we Sleep Powders first. Basically, the idea is you're trying to waste the light screen turns as best you can, because now you get the Giga Drain damage, and also he can't ever DD up again, since Lilligant, which is 2-shot. Now, the Thorns has to go for an attack versus Lily. Typh comes out with the screen down, and now Typh just gets to start picking off the rest of the Steam Men. Grafia comes out thinking, oh, okay, I can acrobatics you down. No. Terra Fire. I still got Sun. Picking off the Grafia. Even with a half-powered eruption, it does not matter. This is Typh under Sun Men with Terra. Pack Watch. Rest in piss, you stupid Grafia. Next game. And if you watched yesterday's upload or the day before, one of the recent uploads, you will recall this team from Slice. Because this is the same team Scaredude brought with the Double Dance Thunderous. Very scary set. It looks amazing into Tutor's team as well. Nothing really stops it too easily. I mean, okay, nothing stops it. There's plenty of things that stop it because they're faster and they just hit you too hard. But I mean, you can see how if you're ever given the leverage to set up, or you get like your Terra turns properly done right, it kind of eats. And this is also another game where, I've talked about this before, Arcanine sometimes looks hilariously useless. This is another one of those games, because there is a Diancie. So Arcanine will be doing nothing, but again, like I said, I really do like the Thunders here. I even like this Flamigo from Slice. Of course, Spiritomb you don't care about, because you got Scrappy CC. Pom Pom's a bit of a nuisance, but if this is another really slow Pom Pom, Flamigo may just be faster anyway, which that's funny. And its Salazzle's just not really a real fighting resist because it's so fragile. So you're going to be able to see that in the dome, pop it up very, very easily. On the side of Tutor, I mean, once again, Pom Pom does look like it could do a lot. I mean, I look at Slice's team. There's not really a lot stopping Pom Pom. Now, admittedly, it's like, where do you find a turn to set up? I think your answers are going to be versus Palisand and Serena. Serena, it's a question of whether or not it is Triple Axel. It's kind of why I've liked Triple Axel a lot more lately on Serena. I just don't want to give turns to the bird. So, there's your win cons here. We get into the game. Here's a Pom Pom immediate led with, because Tutor goes, yep, this Mon looks pretty good here. So Slice U-turns into Overquill. Basically, all he wants to do there is threaten the Barb Barrage poison to force out the Pom Pom. And he does get a very, very fortunate dodge there. It wasn't a 2-shot, but you still want the chip if you're Tutor, because Quill is a Mon that you need weakened to be able to sweep past. And then Slice does get the very nice Barb Barrage poison immediately. He's then going to be able to just go for these super, super strong barrages. As we see that one come out here. Now, Slice makes a very funny play here. Greeting for leftovers. He goes for Protect when he could have just killed the Diancie. So Tutor just gets a spike. He literally just gets a spike there for free. Which I found really funny. And I don't think it really matters too much this game, because a lot of Slice's team is going to be boots or not affected by hazards anyway. But I just found that turn funny. I mean, he got back to full with Overquill anyway, so it's fine, right? And now, after the tech scout of the Scarf gone, presumably, you get Mingo in. You can just U-turn here. Okay, he CCs, because I forgot the game, but U-turn was free. Flygon never has to, or Flygon is never going to be able to EQ too many times, since you've got the 2 ground resists immunities. So, had the U-turn come out there, you know, it's not like he could stay and just be like, oh, I'm EQ it again, yeah! And then Quill Barbarage to Lazzle. He could stay in here because Lazzle isn't going to do any damage, but unfortunately for Slice, he does get burned, which means instead of being able to beat Slazzle one-on-one, Lazzle's actually going to win this trade, but you still get a lot of chip, and this is still nice for Flamigo, because Lazzle, from full at least, lives your CC. So you're just getting closer and closer to a close combat sweep in the game. Now the Tumor comes out, and Arcanine, you know what I said about it looking bad early on? Yeah, we now take all that back, because the Diance's gone. And so now this is like the Danny Ifo game, where Arcanine looks incredible, because the fire resist is a Flygon. So, very strong Mon. You're going to see Slice, of course. Make sure to keep that Mon nice and safe. Brings in his pile of sand against the Gon, as this allows in Spiritomb to get some recovery back, maybe with a Pain Split, throw off a Dark Pulse, whatever he really wants to do here. As he opts for Split, now he's out of Flare Blitz range, and predicting, I guess, Arcanine to either heal or go for another Flare Blitz, he just, again, Pain Splits, gets all of that back. And I'm here to tell you right now, this Dark Pulse right here leads into one of the most powerful Pain Splits of your life. Once again, just gets him right back. Knowing that Slice may want a Morning Sun because this Mon is so good, alright, I'll Pain Split back up too. It's some of the greediest Spiritomb play ever, and I love it. Now, Slice does catch on here, and he's just like, alright, what if I crunch into Blitz here? That'll show him. Because it would, I believe Crunch wouldn't have let Pain Split take him out of range. But then we see a Serena outspeed this Arcanine. I saw that, I'm like, what the hell? My immediate thought was, wait, is this Scarf Serena? Because this is just straight up 3 attacks Morning Sun Arcanine. It should be pretty fast, you'd think, right? No. No. This is faster. And then we see Nock do 5... That's not even that much. We see Nock do a lot. Terra Dark here, and then look at this. It was Banded. I just outspeed the Arcanine, man. Why are we running 5-speed Arcanine? Come on, guys. But, okay. We see both Serenas go down now, because the Pom-Pom is probably coming out. I lied, it was Lazzle. And so Palossand comes out here, which I don't love. But, honestly, you don't have a lot you can go to here, because the Pom-Pom's probably always going to get a free turn to come in afterwards. So now we get this very awkward sequence here of the double Electric Flying Mons trying to beat one another. And we're going to see Tutor's generational bad luck once again come back to bite him as another Hurricane Dodge comes in. Unfortunately, since it's a defensive Pom-Pom, it doesn't actually two-shot yet. You need another boost. As you see here, it barely does any damage. I do have the EVs of this Thundurus. This thing is thick. This one is obese. And what I find really funny here is Slice goes for agility. This actually was a bad play, because he is still slower. Like, he should have Thunderbolted again. I mean, maybe it was okay. It let him outspeed Gone, but then you don't even one-shot because you're not Terra Stealing there. Palossand will come out and be able to force this Mon to die to Helmet. Okay, well, you live a Dragon Claw and you kill with Helmet and Shadow Ball, but... I just found it so funny. It's like, oh yeah, I'll agility up and be fat. No. The Pom-Pom has speed. I think there, if he Thunderbolts and just kills the Pom-Pom, it's probably always safe. Instead, he agility'd up, and if the Oricorio hit, I think it won? Because you're still Revelation last on this set, probably. You could be Taunt, but normally when I see Hurricane, it's gonna be double attack. Air Slash is usually the move they pick to be mono attack with Taunt. And so, that Hurricane hits Thundurus at the end there, you know, instead of, this dodge. I'm fairly certain that Tutor won with Revelation Dance. Maybe not. He still had to Hurricane land on Palossand, but I think even then you'll probably just Roost up a couple times. Earth Power shouldn't do too much damage through your Roost and your defense boosts. And then, yeah, I think you just risk then from there, missing some Hurricanes. You'll outspeed the Scarf Migo, all of it at the end of the day. Very unfortunate series for Tutor. Kind of a shitty way for your run to end. But you know what? I am happy for Slice. Bro had a pretty unfortunate run for his SV games in an UCL. And hey, he's made it to semifinals of the circuit playoffs. I'm happy to see it. Hopefully he wins. And hopefully we get more fun games. I'll probably cover all of semifinals because we only have 2 series now to look at. We looked at 2 series today. Seems pretty easy to do. I might even cover the other 2 series from quarters. I think that would be a fine way to break this coverage up. But I hope y'all enjoyed. Shout out to Ampharos, very cool Pokemon. And shout out to PokeSlice's generational luck. Absolutely incredible. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.